Inside a game, in a place named Woldberry Forest, a huge team with many members ambushed a small team, and the leader of the guild is panting on the ground. The other team's right-hand man tells his leader that the person they are looking for still hasn't shown up. The blue team leader orders her members to kill them. At that moment, our MC appears and slashes the enemy player in a flash. His team members are relieved to see him and call him by the name Jae-hyun. Two members of the enemy team try to attack him, but he also slashes them in a matter of seconds. "You think ganging up on me will change anything?" he asks, as smirks and says that these guys aren't good enough. For introduction, our MC's real name is Jae-hyun An, and he goes by the name Hirkan in the game. He is affiliated with the guild name Ha-Ho Mask. Lastly, he has a nickname, and many people know him by his nickname, the Hero Slayer. Back to the present, the leader tells Hirkan sorry for getting ambushed. Hirkan, showing kindness, moves his hand forward to help the leader, saying that it wasn't their fault. Everyone sniffles after hearing it. Jae-hyun An says that the ones who are at fault are those pathetic losers who can't even put up a fair fight. "Isn't that right?" he asks while looking at the lady. The lady smirks, as if she has planned something beforehand. She stands up and comes forward, saying that there isn't a point in their friendship. She means that trash sticking together is still just a whole pile of trash. Her real name is Seolian Chai, and she in the guild named Thunder Hunters. Furthermore, she also has a nickname, the Thunder Queen. Hirkan taunts her by saying that she always gets beaten by the so-called trash she is being talking about. Seolian tells him that he better watch his mouth, or she might just make him regret and cry over it. "Regret?" Jae-hyun repeats as he activates his slot. He transforms and gets ready for the battle ahead. Seolian gets angry as she gives orders to kill Hirkan. Hirkan, on the other hand, is confident as he knows no one can beat him, but to his surprise, he gets stabbed by his own kind. The loyalty of his teammates was completely staged from the beginning, and the betrayal was served as they got the opportunity. Hirkan HP drops rapidly, and his movements get restricted as it was a critical strike. The leader of the Ha-Heo Guild tells Hirkan not to have any hard feelings because they all gotta make a living. Jae-hyun on the ground is completely baffled while Seolian laughs wholeheartedly. She calls him a poor thing, since he actually believed in their friendship act, as if that means anything when money's on the table. She moves forwards, and while bending towards Hirkan, she grins, saying that she is kicking him out of the game and every time he logs in, she will kill him again and again, so that way Hirkan won't be able to keep playing. She mentions that she heard that he is a full-time warlord player, and without this game, he is worthless. She concludes that he is back to being a weakling. Hirkan immediately charges with the little energy he has in his body, but again he is stabbed by 3 of his own members. Even though he is stabbed by his own kind, his eyes still show sadness in it rather than hatred, as he says that this guild was his everything. On the contrary, the leader tells him to die already because they're getting a couple million just to kill him. "So that's it? After everything I've done for you guys?" Now, Hirkan gets angry as he thought they were like family. Alas, he was killed, woke up in the real world, and got a penalty. He can't enter the game for the next 48 hours. He screams out of frustration as he lost everything in the game named Warlord. A game that took the world by storm, a massively profitable AI-driven VR game, the one thing that made him more than just trash. It was his one and only place until now. The thing that happened with him is unforgivable. He takes his dress and starts running, thinking that he will find them all and kill them himself. "Do they even realize how much I went through?" he asks himself. He keeps running while calling a person named Dong-Soo, who may be the leader of the Ha-Ho Guild. He thinks that if he knew things would end up like this, he never would have wasted his time caring about anyone, and just like that, of all things, he gets hit by a garbage truck. He thinks that he can't die here. Not yet. That scoundrel who betrayed him, that bitch who screwed him over, he is still determined to get revenge on them. At that moment, we see a flash, and in the next moment, he is inside the game in his ID named Hirkan. The system notifies him to complete the tutorial by surviving against the beast Minotaur, the master of the labyrinth. Jaehyun's mind can't access the situation properly. He is baffled since many things have happened. His teammates tell him to stop zoning out. He says that this monster's impossible to solo, and it looks like it's gonna take the three of them to beat it. So, he asks Hirkan to tank them. Jaehyun speaks up. He says that Minotaur, as in the tutorial boss, was removed from the game 5 years ago for being too difficult. His teammate asks him, what nonsense is he talking about? Because it has only been 10 months since the release of the Warlord. 10 months, Hirkan repeats. Upon grasping the situation, he picks up the sword and charges straight at the Minotaur. In a matter of seconds, he slices the Minotaur into pieces. His teammates, who have been calling him noob and a weakling, grin upon seeing the opportunity, and just like previously, these people want to create a guild with him. Want to join my guild? He asks. Hirkan glares at them for a second. He says that he just made up his mind about something. He kills them in an instant while saying that if he ever trusts another person in this life, then he is a fucking dog. With this, Hirkan, the hero slayer, makes his return. After finishing the tutorial, Jaehyun wakes up in the real world. Where am I? He wonders shockingly as he sees himself amidst many people. Then he remembers that it's the V-Gear store because 5 years ago he couldn't afford his own gear. He had to play using a demo unit here. He concludes that he has really traveled back in time. If so, he thinks that he can't waste any time. He starts running thinking that he has 5 years worth of future knowledge and all the skills he built up, if he uses them right, he can get his revenge. He hurriedly gives his card to the lady in charge to buy 1 standard V-Gear, and the lady starts to process his payment. Jaehyun smiles, wondering what he can do first if he gets the V-Gear and from where to start, but to his surprise, the lady called him many times while he was dreaming about his next plan. The lady tells him that his card has insufficient funds. After hearing it, now his brain starts to function properly instead of diluting itself. Like hell I'd be playing here if I had the money in the first place, he says. He wonders what he can do now. He realizes that making cash first would be a long process. At that moment, he hears a familiar voice asking, why hesitate? The strongest never fear a challenge. Hesitation is a luxury on the battlefield. He sees that it's Soehyong, the Thunder Queen, as an exclusive model, telling all the people to become a warlord by playing warlord. Well, this brings back some nasty memories of our MC. He decides to take action first, since he is in no position to be picky. After some time, we see that at his home, the V-Gear installation is completed. The only way he could get money was by getting a loan from some loan sharks. Previously, while taking the loan of 10 million, he was threatened by the loan shark. He says that they would be happy to lend him the money, but if he can't pay them back, life's gonna get real though for him. He thinks that it doesn't matter. Even if he has to crawl through hell itself as long as he can crush those faces of the betrayers. He logs into the game using his ID Hirkan. It's been a while since he was here. He thinks that it's about time for her to show up. He remembers that her name goes by Ari or Aria, something like that. After a few seconds, a lady NPC appears congratulating him for clearing the tutorial. She introduces herself as Ariadne, who is here to guide him through his class selection. She tells him to choose his basic class. She explains that there are 3 options available. The skills he develops in his basic class will determine his advanced class later on. The first option is Warrior, a frontline fighter who wields melee weapons in intense combat. If someone enjoys action-packed battles, this is the class for him. Hirkan played it last time, so he can level it up quickly. But solo play gets tough later on, so he passes this option. Then comes the option of being the priest. a support class that heals and buffs allies with the power of... He doesn't even give her the time to finish her sentence and immediately rejects it, saying that he isn't wasting his time supporting others. Ariadne smiles as she says that then there's only one option left. So, she sends him to the last option, wishing that his journey may be a thrilling one. Thus, Hurakan is transported to his class tower, where an old man welcomes him. This old man here is Golko, a mage class box who is here to guide people to the piety of magic. So tell me, what kind of magic do you wish to learn? He asks. Hurakan immediately answers that he wants to learn dark magic, which baffles Golko. So he asks whether Hurakan means to learn arc magic. Jaehyun replies that he said dark magic, not arc magic. Where did you even hear about that? Golko asks worriedly, because dark magic is powerful, but it devours the caster's soul. Hurakan smirks while telling Golko to teach him, because he came here fully aware of the consequences. For him, it has to be dark magic, because he knows about a secret scenario. The old man starts to shake and transforms into a living skeleton. Golko laughs, speaking that it's been a while since he has seen a youngster choose this path. He tells Hurakan to put his hand on the skill book if he is fully prepared because this path is far too treacherous for the faint-hearted. Hurakan immediately places his hand on the skill book. He says that he will just get on with it since his heart is nowhere near faint. There was this legendary video in his previous life regarding a Necromancer player, completely solo clearing a boss raid. Right now, that's the kind of power he needs. He becomes a Necromancer and acquires a skill named Bone Shard. He quickly uses the skill Bone Shard and a skeletal warrior infused with magic begins to take form. This time, he decides to go all in as a Necromancer. A skeleton is formed, so he turns his head in style, saying it's time for him to level up, but mere moments later, he hears a cracking sound. He sees that his skeleton is still intact, but its skull is lying on the ground. Later, he enters the beginner training dungeon, since his skeleton is very flimsy. In his past life, the skeletons he saw weren't weak and clumsy like this. He sees that his skill Bone Shard's proficiency level is F rank. That's why he decides to level it up first, and in perfect timing, the Coal Wolves appear. They are not strong, but fast. They should be perfect for testing combat performance. So Hurakan uses his skill immediately, and the skeleton appears. It senses the enemy and enters his combat stance. He orders it to kill the wolves, and it charges straight. For Hurakan, it's looking better than he expected. At this rate, he thinks that he will reach max level very fast. Surprised, the skeleton's bones crack in an instant. Again, his skull falls off, sniffling. Jaehyun gets extremely annoyed. He can't fathom the problem here. He again sees the details of the skill. He notices that there are modes which he can select. He guesses that he just forgot to set its mode. He sets it to defense mode, but it doesn't help much. He can't believe what he is seeing right in front of him now. He then sets it to mode 3, a special mode. Due to that, the skeleton starts to dance enthusiastically. Hurakan realizes that he has messed up pretty bad. He looks for the option of character deletion, but he sees that it can't be done until 3 months. He can't delete his account, can't change his class, and his loan payments start next month. He thinks that maybe he should just get hit by a truck again. He sighs, thinking that nothing is going on his way, and the skeleton is not helpful at all. On the contrary, the skeleton is practicing some moves. He wonders for a second, how can the skeletons he saw in his previous life be that strong? Then, he gets enlightened as he remembers what he saw in the details of his skill. This skill has a deep learning system to improve combat capabilities. Just now, while he took down those coal wolves. The Bony here was watching and learning. He gives a wooden stick to the Bony, telling it that it is lucky to get a master like him. Hurakan says that he doesn't look like it, but he used to be called a genius, who trained his whole guild and turned them into rankers too. He states that there's only one thing someone needs to remember in combat, and the thing is, if a person doesn't learn to dodge, he dies immediately. After saying it, he attacks the skeleton again and again while giving it instructions. He tells it to dodge first, then counterattack when it sees an opening. After training for some time, the skeleton looks more in combat form. It goes again at the wolves, but this time he dodged their attacks and even landed some blows. It is his first victory, so it turns and looks at his master to hear some compliments. Hyrcan tells the bony not to get distracted during the battle, but still, he gives it a compliment saying that its last move wasn't so bad. With this, his skills proficiency increases and he levels up. Then he goes to the beginner village's Figus castle. He walks in the streets thinking that the Skelly sure learns fast. With a few more days of training, and it will be able to clear dungeons by itself. He decides to reach level 10 first while someone bumps into him. The person who, like a B-list villain, blocks Hyrcan's path, asking him for an apology. "I don't have time for this. Should I just kill them and move on?" He wonders with a serious face, as the B-list villain is about to attack. Another person wearing sunglasses appears and blocks the attack. Judging by Hyrcan's expressions, he seems to know the person in front of him. Hyrcan, judging by the build and weird clothes, thinks that there's no doubt about it, that the person in front of him is Metador Shev, which was the top-ranked warrior legend in his past life. The B-list guy spits in front of Metador, telling him to stay away from this. Shev gets enraged as he realizes some amount of aura which overwhelms everyone, even Hyrcan. The boss's lackey informs him that the person they are facing right now is Metador Shev, leader of Red Bulls, one of the top 30 guilds, the ruthless battle freak, also known as Metador Killer Shev. After knowing the identity, the boss and his lackey get scared and runs with tails between their legs. After their departure, Shev laughs, saying that the situation was handled peacefully, although it was rather violent to somewhat. Shev puts his hands on Hyrcan's shoulders, asking whether he is all right. On the contrary, Jaehyun pushes the guy back, telling him that he doesn't need to help next time, and leaves. Shev says that Hyrcan's attitude was rather cold. Meanwhile, Hyrcan walks quickly out of anger. His hands are shaking because for a moment he was completely overwhelmed by Shev's power. He clenches his hand, and he thinks that the next time he meets Shev, he swears that he won't be the same person he was today. After some time, while sitting inside the dungeon, he thinks deeply that their difference in strength was pretty obvious. But the Thunder Queen, also known as Sil, and Chev are on the same level, which means he has to become just as strong if he wants to get revenge. Meanwhile, his skeleton warrior is taking out the cold tiger. It levels up and looks at his master with happy eyes. Hyrcan says that he is disappointed that it took him 3 days to reach level 10, and it's longer than expected. After hearing it, the bony starts sulking. Finally, Hyrcan gets the war watch, for which he came to this place. It's been a while since he last wore it. This watch is an essential gaming device with features like stats, quests, map, inventory, and messenger. "Show stats!" he shouts, and the watch tells him to distribute the 50 stats points. He thinks that, since it's his first stat distribution, he needs to be careful with this. As a necromancer, his obvious choice is to increase intelligence or magic. But he makes an expected decision and puts all of his stats point to strength, which makes his skeleton buddy grim, and it starts sobbing. He explains while giving a hit that he is not giving up on necromancy. He is doing this to teach Skelly. Moreover, boosting intelligence or magic right now won't change much. But by investing in strength, he can teach Boney every move he mastered at his peak. He states that he is literally betting his life on Boney's learning here. After hearing these, the skeleton feels touched. Besides, he says that there's another way to make up for the other stats, and in the next scene, we see Monster Hunting Association in the Figus Castle branch. Hyrcan enters the association. While entering, he sees that some people are hyping and fighting for which quests to take, although the quests around this time of year are bad. He tells the person in charge that he would like to look at the list of the quests. The person who may be a dwarf tells him to go ahead, but warns him that all that's left are the ones nobody wants. Either they're too hard to clear, or the rewards suck. Hyrcan smirks, thinking that he knows all of these quests are lame, but he knows better and found his ace card among them. It's a quest related to the Cave of Mount Bima. It's a basic hunting quest for low-level mobs. The dwarf asks whether it is okay for him to take this quest, since the reward is only 10 gold. Hyrcan replies saying yes while thinking that, on the surface, it looks like a petty quest, but if he clears it before reaching level 15, he can get an ultra-rare title Rising Star. Titles give someone stat boosts, and a Rising Star title, it boosts stats by percentage, in other words. This quest is his first step in becoming a broken op character. Now, the only thing left for him to do is to gear up. Well, his gear up was rather unexpected. Previously, after spending all his money on skeleton gear, he just threw together whatever he could afford, and now he looks like a total weirdo. He realizes that there's no use in sulking. He will just have to speedrun this quest and buy some real clothes. He shouts while running that it would be the fastest clear ever. Meanwhile, we see a murder taking place by some players who snicker. After some time at Mount Bima, the grand adventure of a person begins, who calls himself by Mighty Multi. He delivers a cool pose, saying that he is already at level 11, so he thinks he is kinda talented at this game. Suddenly, he hears someone calling for help. He rushes over to rescue and asks what happened. The person explains that a monster, out of nowhere, just started attacking them. They barely managed to escape, but his teammate was caught in it. And now they're fresh out of potions. Multi hurriedly presses his war watch to give them some healing potions, but his innocence causes him a big time, as he is beaten to death by the very players he wished to protect. The entire team of 3 shows themselves just to laugh at Multi. Lastly, before dealing with the final stab, the player states that Multi can't blame anyone, since he is the one who walked right into their trap. His teammate says that nothing can beat the feeling they get while messing with a noob. The team leader is named Ralph, and they are known as the Ralph family, an infamous PK gang. At the same time, Hyrcan is giving order to Skelly to act according to attack mode. He thinks that now that he has bought it a sword, it can handle a whole pack of ancient wolves on its own. He grins, saying that he knew he made the right call prioritizing skeleton gear. He cries as he says that real gamers focus on stats rather than looks. Meanwhile, Skelly sniffles and looks at its master with pity. As they are about to move to another location to level up, Skelly gets shot in his skull by an arrow. Ralph appears saying, sorry, that he saw it from a distance and thought it was a monster. Hyrcan immediately notices that they are carrying some extra war watches and weapons all soaked in blood. He grasps the situation and fakes a smile on his face, saying that he would appreciate a mana potion if they got some, while Skelly breaks the arrow. Ralph says that they don't have any potions either, but they would like to help him level up, since the mana recovers automatically when someone gains a level. At perfect timing, some monsters appear. Ralph says that they will weaken it for Hyrcan, and he can get the last hit. According to their plan, first, they will pull aggro on the monster. Then the mage will cast an attack buff, and finally they will pretend to accidentally let it loose on the sucker. Moreover, according to them, but they didn't know reality can have something else stored for them. They see that Hyrcan's summon was enough to kill all the monsters. Hyrcan tells them to carry on with a smile on his face. They think that maybe this player's level is higher than they originally thought. In that case, they devise another plan. They send multiple mobs at once, and while the skeleton is distracted, they aim to take out the summoner. But to their surprise, they see that the summoner is even stronger than his summon. Hurkan gives a sign to the Skelly, and they both charge together at once to kill the players. Hurkan says that he knows scums like them all too well. The type who gain people's trust just to stab them in the back and loot them dry. He says that the old him would have fallen for it. Ralph begs for survival and even offers all of his items, but Hurkan kills him, saying that it's too bad that he doesn't trust people anymore. Due to Ralph's death, 8 unclaimed watches have been dropped. Jaehyun says that this guy was a total dirtbag, but the next moment, he picks it all up to make some good of it and also acquires some decent clothes. Meanwhile, when he turns, he sees that Skelly is smacking the other play while grinning like a murderer. He heals the crack of Skelly and gives it a muffler to wear. Hurkan says that appearances don't even matter in a game, it's what's inside that counts, even though he is flexing his stolen brand-new clothes in front of Skelly. Those guys' war watches were a total jackpot for him, since when someone sell off another player's war watch, their inventory drops items at random, like rare gear with stat bonuses. That's how he got the Black Goblin pants, Ancient Essence sword, some skill books like the Demonic Curse, and of course gold. Now, this is what he called a lottery won. He takes out the Ha-Ho mask. He says that soon he is gonna start recording his gameplay, and stuff like this needs the right style, which brings back some old memories. A chat with his old friend when they both decided to change the guild name to Ha-Ho Mask due to his suggestion. He has thought about completely changing his style, but now he just changes the look of the mask, refusing to let anyone take what's his ever again. He will prove that he was right, and this will be the start of it. He enters the cave dungeon of Mount Bima. He walks and thinks that if he remembers correctly, this dungeon spawns blue werewolves. Tough monsters, but with his new gear, he should be fine. He smirks as he says that he is gonna clear it in 10 minutes. A few hours later, he shouts out of frustration, since nothing is spawning. This is driving him nuts. If someone had already cleared it, the system would have sent a message. Maybe there's a glitch, he wonders. Then he notices Skelly is attacking the cave ground with its sword. While looking at it, he discovered an instance dungeon known as the Stage. He concludes that it's the reason why nothing was spawning. Instance dungeons are a randomly generated, one-time dungeon inside another dungeon. Once it appears, the regular dungeon shuts down until it's cleared. They are much harder to clear, but give out way better rewards. The catch is once you go in, you can't leave until you clear it or die. Logically speaking, he should just walk away from this, because if he dies, he won't be able to play for 2 whole days. It'd make more sense to just farm easier quests. But our MC isn't a normal guy. He enters the dungeon saying that as long as he doesn't die, he is good. After entering, he sees an arena in front of him. The atmosphere here is intense. So he wonders what kind of monster will spawn. In the next moment, they see one large, corrupted werewolf. Hurkan was immediately attacked by the werewolf, while Skelly, making sure that its master is okay, takes a fighting stand. Hurkan starts to laugh, saying that his luck today is insane, since it is a corrupted monster which gotta be main quest material. He tells Skelly that if they doesn't take this thing down, then it has to kiss its dinner goodbye. Hurkan comes running and jumps using Skelly's sword. He uses the skill book Demonic Curse to unleash curse and instantly cuts the werewolf's left hand, which activated the curse and the wolf's stats get reduced by 10%. But seconds later, the corrupted werewolf is enraged and all status effects on it get nullified. He says that he was expecting a dungeon boss to be at least this tough. Hurkan smirks as he says that he was gonna save this for later, but he guesses now's the chance to test it out. He uses his war watch to slot on and gets transformed. Slot on is one of Warlord's unique features. When activated, the slot on feature, it channels raw energy from the Warlord world, boosting stats and reshaping the player's body. The form's completely unpredictable, varying by player, which is why most users often call it Rampage mode. Now the real fight will begin. The werewolf charges and continuously attacks with his claws, but Hirkin dodges every single one of them since his stats have increased. While fighting, he predicts that if only 3 hits from the monster successfully lands on him, he will be done for. But in the next moment, he smirks as he lands a clean hit and successfully scratches the werewolf. Instantly after dealing the blow, Hirkin stumbles due to an attack from the werewolf. Hirkin says that he completely forgot that this corrupted werewolf is still in enraged mode, so small scratches like the previous won't matter much. At that moment, our Skelly jumps in and slashes the werewolf's hand. Hirkin gives Skelly the signal for their next move, which they practice together. Both of them simultaneously slice up the werewolf. They completely slain the monster, and the slot-on system deactivates. Now it's reward time. Firstly, he gets 10 gold for the normal quest, since the skeleton warrior has slain a high-level monster. Its bone shard skill gets upgraded to rank E, and for this secret dungeon, they have obtained 20,865 G, the werewolf skull, and the werewolf skin. Moreover, the necklace of the corrupt tracker. It enhances class-related stats all stats by 18 points. More shockingly, it's a chronicle unique grade item, which is at a higher level than a regular unique item. Lastly, he notices the title Corrupted Tracker given to him. The system informs that he has now acquired 3 new titles. The Rising Star, which was expecting, and it's the main reason he came here. Then he got the Challenger of Heroes title. It makes sense since he did solo the instance dungeon. Lastly, the Corrupt Tracker. As far as he remembers, this is the introductory title for the first chapter of the main quest, the Corrupt Count, the main quest. It constitutes the backbone of Warlord's world, a crucial storyline, and because the rewards are insanely good, every player wants in no matter what. It's Warlord's core content for players. Hirkin can't believe he got this title this early. This isn't just luck, he has practically hit a jackpot. Then, he happily logs out. As he wakes up in the real world, he sees the breaking news live stream that the Hydra Guild has officially entered the final stage of the Corrupt Count scenario, and they expect to clear it in 3 months, and that's how his jackpot became useless. He bumps his head into the table, saying that if they are already on the Count scenario, then there's nothing for him to grab. He guesses that he has no choice but to sit this one out and aim for the next chapter. Suddenly, he realizes that actually, maybe this could be the perfect opportunity. Right now, the entire world is focused on the Corrupt Count. It's Warlord's first ever main quest that's about to be cleared. So, if he uploads his video about the Corrupt Count, it's bound to be viral. Now he just needs someone to edit it. But editing is key. He can't just hand it off to anyone, which means there's only one person for the job. The legendary editor from his past life, filmmaker Romani. Presently, Romani sees the video editing request from the ID Hirkin at level 15. At first, she looks down on Hirkin for being just level 15, so she just clicks the video for fun. But in the next moment, she jumps out of her chair, she gets excited and smiles since she got her muse. Currently, Romani is a freelance video editing. She also goes by the nickname Hell's Loudmouth. In the next scene, we see a man running since he got called by his director. The lady director says that she looked into a new video about the Corrupt Count that just got uploaded and it's interesting. A level 15 took down a corrupt werewolf solo. The man says that their team also reviewed it. But corrupt werewolves are low level, so they didn't think it was worth tracking. But the director says that she liked it, she wants it, and she tells him to bring the information, revealing her face. Well, she is Ceolian Che Iris of Thunder Enterprises, the Manhwa 1 business conglomerate. In Warlord, she goes by the name Thunder Queen Sil. The next day, when Jaehyun wakes up, he sees that the video he uploaded yesterday has already reached 6,000 views. It took him a couple of months to get to this many views in his previous life. He notices that another thing that has changed is that Romani reached out to him first. Jaehyun doesn't know Romani's gender, so normally he says that Romani doesn't reach out to people first because he's supposed to be a mysterious character. Then, Romani asks for content of the next video. Actually, Jaehyun also wonders about that. He doesn't know what he should do for his next video, and there's no way he is gonna find a monster like the corrupted werewolf again. That's why he says that people need to start making videos when they are at least level 50. But what can he do? He asked himself. He says that he just needs to strike the iron hole, it's still hot, and he logs in. Meanwhile, Matador Shev praises Hercon for his movements. He says that it's impressive no matter how many times he watches it. Then he notices that the person Hercon oddly looks familiar. At that moment, Yell, a player affiliated with the Red Bulls, appears asking, "Who looks familiar?" Matador replies that he is talking about Hercon from Heiho Mask, who has been a hot topic recently. Yell tells Matador that he has been seeing the video of Hercon many times now, so it'd be stranger for him to not look familiar. Matador then starts to blabber. He says that this game makes the players feel like they are moving in real life, so when they play for the first time, they tend to be timid with their movements. Yet that's not the case for Hercon. And the way he trained his summon, it's on a different level compared to other necromancers. He even says that he wonders how it'd feel like fighting him. Yell makes a stop to his blabbering. She tells him to get back inside if he is just gonna blabber about useless topics. She informs that they are going live in 5 minutes. As he is making his grand entrance, the arena judges introduces him by saying that over 200,000 people bought live tickets to see him. The leader of Red Bulls and the man ranked 9th in Warlord, Matador Chev. They announce that a dungeon gate will be spawning soon and they start the counting from 5 to 1. Matador Chev orders all the members to prepare for battle. At the Raiders Association, Figgis Castle branch, our MC is again shocked and disappointed. He bangs his head in the table since there are no quests here. He expected this to some degree, but how could there be absolutely zero good quests? He thinks and guesses that he needs to put a hold on making more videos for now. At that moment, a person comes in, saying that he recognized Hercon from afar, since he is the adventurer who cleared the cave of Bima Mountain Dungeon. He introduces himself as Hotan and asks for some time to have a small conversation. Inside his personal room, Hotan says that he heard all about it, that Hercon found a mutant in the cave of Bima Mountain. Meanwhile, Hercon is thinking that he doesn't remember there being such a quest where he would get a mission from Hotan. So, what's this all about? He wonders. He says that he did see a werewolf with strange eyes. Hotan explains that as he thought, there's a high chance that Hercon encountered a monster that has been exposed to the power of the Corrupt One. He says that his team haven't figured out exactly who they are, but it is certain that their power is causing monsters to go on a rampage, and that many have fallen victim to them. Seeing an opportunity, Hercon immediately grabs Houghton's hand, stopping him to speak any further. Hercon, with sparkly eyes, says that he would like to assist in capturing that lovely, he means the evil bastard with everything he has got. He is thinking that it is a hidden quest, so he must take it no matter what. That's why he doesn't let Hotan speak and takes the quest voluntarily. Hotan happily accepts, saying that, if that's the case, he will give Hercon a chance based on how well he does. He informs that there is a person named Ahimry at Bangsu Castle, which is east to Figgis Castle. He will be able to teach Hercon, and Hotan will write him a letter of recommendation. After coming out, he shouts in happiness, since he really got a quest to become Ahimry's student. One of the 7 disciples of the great mage Bokan is the NPC Ahimry. All mages want to meet him because he provides the most rare skill books. In other words, he's a very important NPC. He starts to run and thinks that he probably got this opportunity because his Rising Star title overlapped with the Corrupted Count main quest. If he does well, he won't ever have to worry about video materials from now on. His feet suddenly come to a halt. He smirks as he says that he almost forgot that there was something he had to take care of before he did this. He then goes into a forest, in a quiet place, and activates Skeleton Fragment. He says that he hasn't taken a look at his rewards from his last battle. At first, he decides that he will use the werewolf's skull that he didn't sell off. Due to it, the skeleton warrior has gained the traits of a werewolf, which increases toughness by 2 points. Now he equips the necklace of the corrupted tracker, due to that. All of his stats increases by 18 points, and also class-related stats has been increased. He then, again, activates Skeleton Fragment, and this time, he is able to make another 2 skeleton. He tells them that from now on, the 3 of them will fight as a unit, and he orders them to get along with each other. While our number 1 Skelly feels betrayed, as it kneels on the ground screaming, "No!" from its heart. Now, it's time for the hunt to begin. The next moment, the forest bear, which is at level 25, attacks him. Hurkan just dodges its attack since he wanted to aggro so that the Skellies can take care of the rest. Now, one of the Skelly attacks the bear head-on and gets smashed in a second. Hurkan angrily tells them that they need to attack the bear from its blind spot since predictable attacks don't work on it. Then he signals the next Skelly to attack, but it also does the same thing, which makes Hurkan extremely angry. He shouts, saying that he told to attack from the blind spot. He then sees that the Skelly number 1, which he acquired first, is doing a cool pose. It makes him blush, thinking that this guy may pull it off. Moments later, this skeleton also attacks head. Due to that, its head fall off. Hurkan is now angry and embarrassed to his boots that he shouts at them. After some moments, all of them hold their heads high up, with their head to make amends for their mistakes. "Do you guys even have brains?" he asks. He even answers them, saying that he geezes that they don't have. He takes a wooden stick and draws on the grass. He tells them to see. He says that when monsters get attacked, they'll obviously turn to the direction the attack is coming from. That's why attackers need to come in from their blind spot. "You all got it?" he asks. He sees that they have no clue whatsoever what they have done wrong. Hurkan thinks that it's great that his skill rank increased and he can summon 3 skeletons now thanks to the effects of Necklace of the Corrupted Tracker. But the problem is they can't work together. They all share whatever he taught one of them before, but because they haven't learned how to fight together, they don't know how to do it. He says that they cost triple the mana, but they're even worse than before. However, since he reached level 20, he geeses that he can't make fighting videos for a while. He tells them to get up because they are going to train until reach Bangtsu Castle. And here, he thought he would be able to leave the fighting to these guys while he sits back and relax, just like what a necromancer should do. He cries as he guesses that he can't avoid having to be on the forefront. At the Raiders Association, Bangtsu Castle branch, the players are hungry for the quest, so they target any player who comes out taking a quest to join the quest. Hurkan arrives at the Bangtsu Castle. He says that these players are exactly like hyenas, as they don't even try to work hard on their own. They only want to leech off of other people. One of these so-called players tries to have a conversation with Hurkan, but he ignores him. He thinks that he can't let them find out he is doing the Ahimry quest. He gives the recommendation letter to the manger to check. The manger confirmed it and tells him to go to the 2nd floor. The other players also tries to go with him, saying that they are on his party. As he walks up the stairs, he wonders what kind of reward Ahimry has for him. Is it something good since it's a hidden quest, he thinks. While opening the door, he decides that he is gonna form a long-lasting relationship with Ahimry. He looks that the place is so messy. "Who are you?" Ahimry asks upon showing himself among the mess, with dark circles in his eyes as if he has been working non-stop for a month. Hurkan introduces himself and says that he is here with a recommendation letter from Hotan. Ahimry praises Hirkan by saying that he still looks like a black mage trainee. So he supposes Hirkan is quite skilled for his level. Ahimry gives him the promised rewards, the 2 skill books, the bone armor, and the madness helm. Hirkan gets really happy since he received 2 skill books which look like super rare. But, in the next moment, Ahimry says that their business is done here. So, he tells Hirkan to leave this place. Hirkan thinks, why did the quest end so quickly? He didn't go through all this just to get a couple of skills. So he starts to blabber that he would do anything, and that's when he gets caught in a trap. Ahimry gives him a quest, while thanking him because it's a quest with no reward whatsoever, named the Egg of the Nest. After some time, Hirkan realized that Ahimry got the better of him. In the next scene, people see a person walking with gears and armors which look super expensive. The man in armor speaks that this is the place where he will meet the Haho Mask. After receiving the Egg of the Nest quest from Ahimry, Hirkan steps out of the room disappointed and says to himself that it is possible to be scammed by an NPC. He thought Ahimry would give a quest related to the main quest, but what the hell is this egg quest which doesn't even have a reward? He asks himself whether he really needs to do the quest, but someone listens to his words and realizes Hirkan is talking about a quest. Other people hear this and they all swarm Hirkan saying he has gotten a quest. Hirkan says he forget about these guys and thinks what he should do. He thinks whether he should kill them all, but before his thoughts could be manifested, a person in expensive armor throws all the people off Hirkan. He asks Hirkan whether he has a moment. He says he would like to talk somewhere quiet. Hirkan thinks who the hell this guy is and tells him to buzz off, but the man tells him to cooperate, calling him Mr. Haho Mask. They go outside in an alley to talk. The man apologizes to Hirkan for troubling him. He says that he felt they wouldn't be able to talk properly with people around them while removing his helmet. Hirkan, seeing the man's gear, deduces that the man has to be a ranker at least, but he can't recall him from his memories. He asks himself who the man is and how the man knows who he is. The man asks Hirkan that he is the Haho Mask, isn't he? Hirkan thinks that in these situations he needs to pretend like he doesn't know. So Hirkan bluffs, telling the man, "Who is this Haho Mask you've been talking about?" He says he followed the man outside because he wanted to talk, but who the heck is Haho Mask? The man asks, that didn't Hirkan just get a quest from an NPC named Ahimry? Hirkan asks the man who he is and why he should share information with him, saying it already pisses him off that he dragged him outside. Hirkan flips off the man and asks whether he is looking for a fight. If so, he should put his account on the line and just kill him. Hirkan tells him that he doesn't know who the man is, but all he has to do is pretend like he doesn't know. He thinks what the man's next move might be. The man extends his arm forwards to shake hands, apologizing, suggesting he has made a mistake. They shake hands, and Hirkan makes fun of the man, saying that the man is scared. He jokes, saying he is letting the man slide only this once, and starts to leave. The man in armor stands there looking at Hirkan as he leaves. Suddenly, another man appears beside the man in armor, saying he doesn't think Hirkan is the person they are looking for, and one thing is for certain that Hirkan is not a skilled player, because if someone has played Warlord for some time, they would know better than to carelessly reach out their arm with the War Watch. The person in the black clothing, who had appeared after Hirkan left, asks the man in armor whether they really need to keep watching around Ahimry. He says that the corrupt Count quest is almost over. Even if someone were to find out now, what could they do at this point? The man in armor says that the Egg of the Nest quest is the main quest, so they shouldn't take unnecessary risks. The man in black says if that is the case, then he is getting back in position. The man in armor says he will see him later. Meanwhile, Hirkan was listening to the men talk from a window right above from where they were. Hirkan thinks that there are 2 of them, so they're definitely part of an organization, since they are working together. But if they were from a regular guild, they would have made a deal after telling me who they were. He says they're definitely not just average guys, testing Hurkan like that, so who the hell are those guys, he wonders. In the woods, Hurkan is sitting and thinking while his skeletons are training. He thinks that it is for certain that there is something more to the nest egg quest he got. He thinks that the men probably saw his video, and so they knew that Ha-Ho Mask would receive the quest from Ahimry. Since they let him go easily, they don't care who Ha-Ho Mask is. He says to himself that he doesn't know what's up with the quest, but if he continues like this, he is bound to keep running into them. He says that he can't even upload videos for a while if he wants to avoid them. He asks why crazy people keep ruining his life while laughing due to frustration. He says that Che Seolyeon alone is already too much for him to handle. In the next scene, we are brought to the place where Che Seolyeon's rig is, where she is greeted by her secretary Park Soo-ji as she exits the game. Her secretary asks her how the guild entrance exam went, while offering her a bottle of water. Che Seolyeon, in frustration, asks sarcastically how not a single one of them could be useful. Her secretary, not knowing what to say in response, says that is scary. Che Seolyeon asks her whether there are any updates from the Ha-Ho Mask she mentioned last time. Park Soo-ji says that they seem to have entered another guild since they haven't responded yet. Hearing this, Che Seolyeon crushes the water bottle in her hand in anger. Park Soo-ji says she will look into it again, being scared of Che Seolyeon's anger. Che Seolyeon tells her to come back when she knows for certain. After saying this, she goes to change and asks Park what the president said. Park says he hasn't said anything yet. Che Seolyeon says he is not saying anything because Warlord is doing so well. Che Seolyeon changes into a skirt and shirt and says the president tried to forcefully arrange a marriage when she first told him about playing this game. Meanwhile, Park is fascinated with Che Seolyeon's figure. Che Seolyeon tells her to get a new set of applicants and report back to her by tomorrow morning. Park says tomorrow morning is too soon, but she escapes the room before Che Seolyeon gets into a bad mood. In the next scene, Hurkan arrives at the lizard swamp and says it's been a while since he last came here. He thinks that Ahimry is currently in Bangstu Castle, so the quest should be around this region. He says that since the quest was related to finding an egg, it had to be either a bird, reptile, or insect-type monster, and narrowing it down to places he could go with his current level, the lizard swamp was the only place. He calls a skeleton of his and says that the monsters here are high level, so he should probably use the enhancement skill he learned last time. He reads the skill window, and the skill is called Madness Helm, and he needs to draw an engraving on the target's head and cast a spell to activate. So he draws an engraving on the skeleton's head. Immediately, the skeleton starts to emit a red aura and grows horns. Hurkan says that is sick. He says that he needs to test it, so he tells the skeleton to come and attack him. We are made to notice a special note in the skill window that says that there is a chance that the summon loses its sanity. The skeleton goes to attack Hurkan at full speed, but in the next moment, Hurkan punches the head off the skeleton. Hurkan says how dare the skeleton just scream at him. Hurkan wonders whether it is some kind of bug. He says he doesn't think anything has changed and feels like it is a scam. Suddenly, Lizardman level 30 comes out. Hurkan thinks that test subjects have arrived just in time. He uses Helm on the skeleton, which increases the summon stats and increases the current increase rate by 1.2 times. He uses bone armor that equips the summon with armor. Currently available to summon is chest plate. The skeletons all gain the skills and go to attack Lizardman. The skeletons rush behind the Lizardmen and kill them, and the skills level up. Hurkan thinks that is great. He tells the skeletons that for the next week, they will be hunting down monsters, looking for the egg, and if it isn't the quest region, then they will go elsewhere, and they set on. Meanwhile, behind them, a girl is watching them. The girl introduces herself as Ilia and calls herself a top-tier beauty. She says she doesn't want to say it herself, but it is the truth, so she can't help it. She says everyone like her no matter what she does. Ilia says that is why her life has been so easy. because if she acts troubled, then her slaves will step up and help. She goes to run, but trips and falls on her face in a puddle. She says she hates this stupid place in frustration. She says that one of her slaves brought her here to help her level up, but he ended up dying right away, so she is stuck in the place. She cries, thinking the monsters here are too high level, and it is hard to walk around, so she thinks whether there is anyone she can trick into, and suddenly she spots Hirkan. She thinks to herself that she has found a new slave. She gets closer to Hirkan and acts as if she is in trouble and calls for help to get Hirkan's attention. She acts innocent, saying she hurt her legs because of these monsters. She thinks in her mind that it probably hurts Hirkan to see such a beautiful lady in pain, and he can't resist wanting to help. However, in reality, Hirkan doesn't give even a shred of attention to her pleas and walks away. Ilia thinks how he can ignore and leave a top-tier beauty like her injured. She calls him again for help, but Hirkan says she is another crazy person. She bites her lip in anger till it bleeds and says how dare he ignore her. Meanwhile, Hirkan and his skeletons move forward, killing monster after monster. Ilia doesn't quit and moves along with Hirkan acting injured, and Hirkan thinks that she is annoying. Hirkan says that he was ignoring her because he didn't want to waste his time, but she keeps following her. He curses her in his mind, saying if someone is in a game, then they should play the damn game properly, because the faces of the betrayers come to his mind. He thinks it will be faster to just deal with it and asks what she needs help with. She acts innocent and says she dropped her sword in one of the swamps while hunting and asks his help to retrieve it. Hirkan says she better buzz off once she gets it back. She says of course and thanks him, saying she won't forget his help. Meanwhile, in her mind, she is scheming something against Hirkan. She shows Hirkan the sword and says without him, she would be dead. Hirkan says it is fine, but she must not forget about her promise about leaving after he gets her the sword. He orders his skeletons to get it. Once the skeletons leave, she thinks that a necromancer is nothing without his summons, so she attempts to attack Hirkan from behind for ignoring her, but Hirkan turns around saying she is too slow. He grabs her by her collar and throws her into the swamp. She says he won't get away after doing something like this, as her bodyguards can destroy Hirkan in no time. Hirkan laughs while telling her to look behind her. Behind Ilia, lizard men appear and they attack her. Hirkan taunts her, saying she should have done a better job to scam him, and says he saw through her right from the start, as he has had enough of being scammed. He calls the skeletons to leave, but notices the skeletons practicing charm. He tells them to stop learning weird things, or he will kill them. Meanwhile, Ilia dies and Hirkan receives points for killing her. He laughs, thinking about when she said her bodyguards will kill him and says someone like her doesn't have bodyguards. Meanwhile, some simps of her whom she calls her bodyguards are watching Hirkan leave after killing her on a screen in anger. One of Ilia's simps attacks Hirkan, but soon gets neutralized. He calls Hirkan Miss Ilia's enemy and says he needs to take revenge for her. Hirkan asks him why he is going so far for her because it's not like he is getting anything out of it. He asks him whether he thinks she will go out with him if he avenges her, and asks why he is obsessed over a woman he met in a game. The man laughs like a maniac loudly and says that it is because he loves her. Hirkan kills him, calling him a joke. He thinks that he didn't take her seriously, but it turns out to be true what she said. She used her crocodile tears to convince her simps that she only asked for help, and Hirkan attacked her. Since then, Hirkan has started to run into crazy people like this guy every day. Hirkan says he is already anxious enough because he can't find quests, and now he has a bunch of simps after him. He thinks whether he should find that woman and kill her again. But he changes his mind, saying he could get himself into even bigger problems. He finds a watch on the ground belonging to the girl's bodyguard and picks it up. The game notifies him that he has obtained an ownerless war watch, 5011 G, Goblin's leather boots, and the Necklace of Promise. Hirkan thinks that the Necklace of Promise is a rare item that can be sold for Book 1. He gets happy to receive these items and says love is great and thanks the simps. He kisses the watch, saying he can finally have a fancy dinner today. Meanwhile, another simp arrives and says he has found Ilia's enemy. Hirkan proudly proclaims that he is the trash that killed Ilia and welcomes everyone. But when he looks at how many people there are, he becomes speechless. He runs, seeing so many of them. They chase Hirkan, and he wonders how there are so many people obsessed over that woman. He orders his skeletons to attack. One of the simps kills a skeleton using what he calls the skill of love. Hirkan thinks that they have higher level than him, and there are a lot of them, so he won't be able to fight them head-on. He quickly jumps and runs while saying that they are all dead once he levels up. He somehow gets rid of and hides behind a tree while panting. He thinks that it's hard to shake them off because he is underleveled comparatively, so he needs to keep moving. He then looks around and wonders where he is, as the place seems different from others. He says he doesn't remember such a place being in the lizard swamp. He says he has been looking around the area for days, but this kind of black swamp was never. But he realizes something, and we are kept as a suspense as to what it is. Meanwhile, the simps of Ilia are looking for Hirkan. One of them spots Hirkan's skeletons dancing. They get angry as they think that he is insulting them by making his skeletons dance. The person that previously killed one of Hirkan's skeletons charges the skeletons again, saying he won't forgive Hirkan. Before he could touch the skeletons, suddenly a huge monster appears in front of them. The monster eats the person who charged at the skeletons. The people realize that the monster is the boss monster of the lizard swamp, called the dragon lizard, which is level 40. This is what Hirkan realized before, that the quest was referring to the dragon lizard's nest. The dragon lizard is a boss monster with overwhelming defense, health, and attack, which takes a party of 20 players with an average level of 40 to barely be able to hunt it down. He says that from what he heard, the dragon lizard raid was completed a while ago, and normally this boss wouldn't be here. However, if someone with a related quest enters the field, the monster will respawn. In other words, since the dragon lizard is here, then it means that this is where Ahimry's quest takes place. He thinks to himself that Ahimry sent him here to defeat the boss and bring the egg back even when he is just a level 20 player. He gets angry as to why Ahimry would do something so ridiculous. But lucky for Hirkan, he was able to gather some good teammates in the form of enemies, so it should be fine. The enemies say that the dragon lizard is too much for them, so they should retreat. However, Hirkan blocked their way using his skeletons. Using the enemies to keep the dragon lizard distracted, Hirkan runs to the nest. He thanks his apparent teammates for their sacrifice and moves quickly to rob the nest. He reaches the nest but gets shocked to see nothing resembling an egg. He looks around but finds nothing but a suspicious object that resembles a stone rather than an egg, and there is nothing else that even remotely resembles an egg. Meanwhile, his skeletons have been destroyed, and he realizes that the dragon lizard must be coming back after detecting an intruder. The boss returns to the nest, but Hirkan hid himself in the meantime. He says that now that the dragon lizard is back, he can't search through the nest again, so he has no choice but to bring the thing he found, even though it's not an egg, according to him.